Chapter 3. Now the serpent was the most cautious of all the wild animals of the field that Jehovah God had made. So it said to the woman,
"Did God really say that you must not eat from every tree of the garden?"
At this the woman said to the serpent,
We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but God has said about the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, you must not eat from it. No, you must not touch it, otherwise you will die.
At this the serpent said to the woman,
You certainly will not die, for God knows that in the very day you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad.
Consequently, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was something desirable to the eyes. Yes, the tree was pleasing to look at. So she began taking of its fruit and eating it. Afterward, she also gave some to her husband when he was with her, and he began eating it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. Later they heard the voice of Jehovah God as he was walking in the garden about the breezy part of the day. And the man and his wife hid from the face of Jehovah God among the trees of the garden. And Jehovah God kept calling to the man and saying to him, Where are you? Finally he said,
I heard your voice in the garden, but I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself.
At that he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree from which I commanded you not to eat? The man said,
The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, so I ate.
Jehovah God then said to the woman, What is this you have done? The woman replied,
The serpent deceived me, so I ate.
Then Jehovah God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are the cursed one out of all the domestic animals, and out of all the wild animals of the field. On your belly you will go, and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will crush your head, and you will strike him in the heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly increase the pain of your pregnancy. In pain you will give birth to children, and your longing will be for your husband, and he will dominate you. And to Adam he said, Because you listened to your wife's voice, and ate from the tree concerning which I gave you this command, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground on your account. In pain you will eat its produce all the days of your life. It will grow thorns and thistles for you, and you must eat the vegetation of the field. In the sweat of your face you will eat bread, until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. After this, Adam named his wife Eve, because she was to become the mother of everyone living. And Jehovah God made long garments from skins for Adam and for his wife, to clothe them. Jehovah God then said, Here the man has become like one of us, in knowing good and bad. Now in order that he may not put his hand out and take fruit also from the tree of life, and eat and live forever. With that, Jehovah God expelled him from the Garden of Eden to cultivate the ground from which he had been taken. So he drove the man out, and he posted at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubs and the flaming blade of a sword that was turning continuously to guard the way to the tree of life. Chapter 4. Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant. When she gave birth to Cain, she said,
I have produced a male child with the help of Jehovah.
Later she again gave birth to his brother Abel. Abel became a shepherd of the flock, but Cain became a cultivator of the ground. After some time, Cain brought some fruits of the land as an offering to Jehovah. But Abel brought some firstlings of his flock, including their fat. While Jehovah looked with favor on Abel and on his offering, he did not look with any favor on Cain and on his offering. So Cain grew hot with anger and was dejected. Then Jehovah said to Cain, "Why are you so angry and dejected? If you turn to doing good, will you not be restored to favor? But if you do not turn to doing good, sin is crouching at the door, and its craving is to dominate you. But will you get the mastery over it?" After that, Cain said to his brother Abel,
"Let us go over into the field."
So while they were in the field, Cain assaulted his brother Abel and killed him. Later on, Jehovah said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" And he said,
"I do not know. Am I my brother's guardian?"
At this he said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed in banishment from the ground, that has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will not give you back its produce. You will become a wanderer and a fugitive in the earth." At this Cain said to Jehovah,
"The punishment for my error is too great to bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your face, and I will become a wanderer and a fugitive on the earth, and anyone who finds me will certainly kill me."
So Jehovah said to him, "For that reason, anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times. So Jehovah set up a sign for Cain, in order that no one finding him would strike him. Then Cain went away from before Jehovah and took up residence in the land of exile, to the east of Eden. Afterward, Cain had sexual relations with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then he engaged in building a city, and named the city after his son Enoch. Later, Irad was born to Enoch, and Irad became father to Mehujael, and Mehujael became father to Methushael, and Methushael became father to Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives for himself. The name of the first was Adah, and the name of the second was Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal. He was the founder of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the founder of all those who play the harp and the pipe. Also Zillah gave birth to Tubal-Cain, who forged every sort of tool of copper and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Then Lamech composed these words for his wives Adah and Zillah.
"Hear my voice, you wives of Lamech. Give ear to my saying. A man I have killed for wounding me, yes, a young man for striking me. If 7 times Cain is to be avenged, then Lamech 77 times.
Adam again had sexual relations with his wife, and she gave birth to a son. She named him Seth, because, as she said,
God has appointed for me another offspring in place of Abel, because Cain killed him.
There was also born to Seth a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began calling on the name of Jehovah. Chapter 5. This is the book of Adam's history. In the day that God created Adam, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female he created them. On the day they were created, he blessed them and named them man. Adam lived for 130 years, and then became father to a son in his likeness, in his image, and he named him Seth. After becoming father to Seth, Adam lived for 800 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam's life amounted to 930 years, and then he died. Seth lived for 105 years, and then became father to Enosh. After becoming father to Enosh, Seth lived for 807 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth amounted to 912 years, and then he died. Enosh lived for 90 years, and then became father to Kenan. After becoming father to Kenan, Enosh lived for 815 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh amounted to 905 years, and then he died. Kenan lived for 70 years, and then became father to Mahalalel. After becoming father to Mahalalel, Kenan lived for 840 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Kenan amounted to 910 years, and then he died. Mahalalel lived for 65 years, and then became father to Jared. After becoming father to Jared, Mahalalel lived for 830 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel amounted to 895 years, and then he died. Jared lived for 162 years, and then became father to Enoch. After becoming father to Enoch, Jared lived for 800 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared amounted to 962 years, and then he died. Enoch lived for 65 years, and then became father to Methuselah. After becoming father to Methuselah, Enoch continued to walk with the true God for 300 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch amounted to 365 years. Enoch kept walking with the true God. Then he was no more, for God took him. Methuselah lived for 187 years, and then became father to Lamech. After becoming father to Lamech, Methuselah lived for 782 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah amounted to 969 years, and then he died. Lamech lived for 182 years, and then became father to a son. He named him Noah, saying,
This one will bring us comfort from our labor and from the painful toil of our hands because of the ground that Jehovah has cursed.
After becoming father to Noah, Lamech lived for 595 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech amounted to 777 years, and then he died. After Noah reached 500 years of age, he became father to Shem, Ham, and Japheth.